longer president in Kenya, because everyone will come and ramp against him. You can remember even with Raila demonstrations, they knew the remit which Raila has. So that's why you could see even when tukikuwa na demonstrations, Ruto angekuwa Rwanda, Ruto could be interim, but now he can't get out because his career, his presidency is in jeopardy, because he realizes that now the people, when we see the political classism and the political divide come together, please know that they have a threat. These are people coming here they are bootlicking the government. It's because they know they are part of the system that is rigged. They know they will go out, all of them. So the only language you have is pressure them, pressure them, pressure them. There's no other language we have. When you go to the streets yesterday, Bungei was actually in the streets, and the kind of language he caught up with the Gen Zs. People are so peaceful. They were actually praising him. They were actually clapping for him. Walikuwa na teenage. And there's nothing what they did. He just smiled, got into the car, and there was nothing. And actually, I don't know where the people went. The people went to Nyayo, watu wakanuko GKI. So this is a language. We pressure them, we pressure them. Thank you so much. I have not much to say, but sina sai.
Asante sana Sir Henry. We're gonna go to Steve Oji, then Be Real. Thank you for keeping the time. It's very kind of you all. Hey, Steve Oji, we bwana, endelea. Sikai tu hapo kwa gari hivyo. Kumseni kaa yuko. Be Real, please go ahead.
Yes, Lady Justice, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good. It's really good morning. I'm so sorry for those people that were actually killed yesterday. It's a very sad one. My point is, let's try to be very careful. Very, very careful. I'm seeing a tweet here, and I want to believe that it was written out of anger, because the moment they're going to manage to turn it into tribal lines, it's not going to be nice. It's not going to be nice at all. And the owner of a tweet is somebody I really respect, because I don't believe if a Luo or a Kikuyu or a Luya dies, you should not feel the pain. I'll never defend Luos against police brutality the day you stop being used by Raila. Right now, it's not about Raila. That's why I keep on shelving away from anybody trying to highlight Raila, because we're going to lose our focus. We're really fighting a regime and a systematic problem. We're really fighting a poor governance. And in the midst of tweeting, you may tweet either out of anger or out of past scores that maybe may have passed along the way. But right now, if you turn it into tribal, we're going to lose the entire thing. People are united by one voice for the first time, and we are watching for one cause. So even as you tweet, because you're tweeting to either a blogger or anybody, some tweets can really be hurting. So that is not a very nice tweet, Mariam, but we'll rub it on. It was either out of anger because you are responding to a lie, but it's not tribal. This man going to the estates inside the houses is sickening, is the most brutal way, because you didn't know that cops are going to get into the estate. You're on your balcony, you're being shot from your balcony. People have died from very weird areas. There's a video that you saw somebody being shot at the gate. So the pressure point is Ruto. It's not about tribal. And the opposition that is coming in, you've seen how much they've been rejected. Nobody's working with them. So as we are on these streets, as we're on the streets of talking, as we're on the streets of the spaces, as we're on the streets of tweeting, let's shield away from where they want to send us onto tribal. Let's stick to one voice. When you feel pain, I feel pain. When you're contributing to the course of action for the people that are hurt, we're doing it as one Kenya. We're not doing it's Baluya or it's Kikuyu or it's Luo. It's not right. It's below our standards. Let's keep our standards higher the way we've kept it on non-tribal, non-political, leaderless. As much as we're still leaderless, there's some people that are really campaigning for leaders. Yes, it is a need, but it's not the right time. I still say that. It's not the right time. If you were dealing with somebody that is honest and has a bit of integrity, we'd actually voice for a leader at the moment so that we could have a way forward. We have a way forward, but it will take time. And if we voice for a leader right now, it's not the right time. So let's be very careful on our streets. Let's care for each other. Let's have empathy. Nobody can celebrate if Lady Justice is hurt right now. Nobody can celebrate if Dr. Love is hurt right now. It's not a sin worth looking at. God bless you guys.
Asante sana Biril for reminding us of one of the most important reasons as to why we came together. Let's not go back to the tribal lines. And let's remember that the moment there are people who even like some tribal stuff have come up in the past week, and I'm hearing the same conversation I used to hear during elections that could go like, oh, so and so will never be president. When you say things like that, the way it sounds to some people, it's just like, oh, it's coming from that hate that we already know. So let's be careful. Let's when how I go about such moments is I normally say that, you know what, try and separate the person from the action, so that even if you're typing something, instead of saying, oh, I know you're just doing this, you do not know what really that person is thinking or feeling or doing at the moment. You could say, it seems like this and this since this. But let's stop personal attacks. Zalendo, and then we can go to Dr. Love, please, and then Fly High.
Thank you, Lady Justice. Can you am I audible?
Very audible. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. First, let me address the topic. Is it time for the Gen Zs and the opposition unity? In my opinion, I say a big no to that, because we have seen an opposition that is undecided, an opposition that is divided, an opposition that has wars inside themselves. So these are people, if they join us, then they will destroy us. And number two, why I wouldn't support an a, a juncture with this opposition is that when we join, we will form a leader. And when we have a leader, then Ruto will use one of the rules of the laws of power, law number 42, which says, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. So if we join with the opposition, we will have an umbrella. So Ruto will easily strike the umbrella to scatter the sheep, who here the sheep will be the Gen Zs. Then I would also like to insert this, that we have seen the several deployments that Mr. Ruto has used to fight us, like hiring militia. So I would like to encourage the Gen Zs to do this. I would like the Gen Zs to do this. We know very well that removing Ruto from power is a tall order, because this is the same man who wanted to slap Uhuru Kenyatta when after the nullification of the 2017 general election, when Uhuru told him that, oh, let us leave this thing. He said himself that he wanted to slap Uhuru. So removing this guy from power could be a tall order. But we have to make his leadership miserable. We have to make him miserable. Mpaka when it comes 2017, he can even give up vying. So we have to hold him accountable. We have to continue seeking for social justice. We have to continue seeking for good governance with every means of possible, with every drop of our blood. And then finally, I would like to say this. It was very unfortunate what happened in Kitengela yesterday night. The police actually terrorized us in our houses after we had left the demonstrations. They chased us into houses. Like I had a son who was outside, so I decided to pick a daughter. niende nimchukue. So when I met the police, one of them said that I was one of the guys who are pelting stones at them. So she said I should be arrested. So actually, my 2-year-old daughter went through a lot of terror during that moment. So she cried the whole night because of what she went through when those police were mishandling us. But I would like to encourage us. Mahali tumefika, if we leave it now, then we would have lost a lot of life, and we would have fought this fight for nothing. So let us not give up. Let us keep pressing on. In the journey for democracy, journey for liberation is not easy. In liberation, the journey is slippery, and we cannot give up now. Let us continue pushing on. Thank you.
Asante sana Mzalendo. Thank you very much for that submission. Please let's remember to follow one another on this platform. That gives us an opportunity to share our stories. As we can see, the media is now gagged, but anything somebody gets from the field, we want it to be known to the world that something is happening in Kenya, whether the media is sharing it or not. We are going to be the media until the media have their gag order pulled out. We had Dr. Love, then Fly High. Please go ahead. 3 minutes. Dr. Love, going 1. Dr. Love, 2. Dr. Love, 3. Looks like Fly High. It's your opportunity. Please, 3 minutes.
Thank you so much, Lady Justice, and condolences to all the families that have been affected by the violence that has been meted out on us by this government. I don't see why people are being chased into the estates. The moment you start afflicting our children, you make more enemies of even people who have no enemies or who have no quarrel with the government, so to speak. You cannot come and afflict us in our estates. Unapiga tear gas usiku, watoto wanashinda wakiumia, kifua wakilia. What impression do you think those children have of the government and of the police? Wala mko ambapo mko kwa hizi idara na vikosi, tafadhalini, please, hata nyinyi pia kuoni na utu. Pia wewe mkipoa tuko kwa lines za masuala kama haya, what do you think could be the effect? So think about what you're doing even as you're going to do these things. It is if you kama utapambana na, even if ni kikazi unasema ni kikazi, unapambana na watu ambao pengine ni magunza, ama kama ni kazi imesema upambana na Gen Zs, please stick to your whatever in terms of force standing order zile zina for service orders zile zinaambia vile kazi inafaa kufanywa. I don't think there's anything that is about kwenda kupambana na watu usiku. Watu wanauliwa, mtu ambaye hana hatia unamuuliza nini? Mtu anatembea kienda nyumbani unamuuliza nini? If there's no clear view kwamba kuna any sheria ambayo imekiukwa na mtu, please wacha na kusumbua na watu. But Kenya is hard for all of us. Stop making it more difficult, and especially for our children. Secondly, I don't see allying with the opposition being a good idea, because the Gen Z, this movement by the Gen Z, by the millennials, is a value-based movement. We're not just looking to drive change at any cost, but we want change that lasts. And we've seen that the opposition have got embraced a different set of values than we do, because ultimately, when it looked like the Gen Z wamesukuma serikali, what happened is that the political class came together. Haikubaki sasa ni kwamba ni Ruto na sukuma peke yake, bali he reached out now even to the opposition to see that they could form some sort of strategic alliance. So at the end of the day, the opposition is not going to work in our favor. They don't have the same values that we do, and for them it's a case of political expediency. They will use us and then ditch us. And this movement has come at a great cost. Tunakumbuka kina Rex na wale ambao wameuawa katika this struggle. So you cannot betray the cause by allying with people who will leave us high and dry or use us for their own political ends. We don't have the same values. We don't even have the same objectives. You could see what Kaluma was saying yesterday when it was said kwamba there's a possibility that the ODM, when Sifuna gave out the statement about ODM not having or not wanting a seat at the government table in terms of ministerial positions, Kaluma was saying something different. Is that the person we want to ally with? Mimi kwa maoni yangu, this thing ita confuse our struggle, we will be corrupted, and that seed ya self-interest ambayo iko ndani ya hawa wanasiasa itatuinfect mpaka sisi Gen Z na huu na this movement itasambaratika. So I propose we avoid allying with the opposition. Let them come in the individual capacity, but let them not come as the opposition. We do not want to be tied to the opposition. We want a value-driven change. Thank you.
Asante sana, Fly High, for some contribution there. Next, we have Easter Adrian and then Jaden.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, Easter?
Fine, thank you. I'm so saddened this morning. My heart goes out to our heroes at Mirema, Githurai, and Zimmerman. I'm so heartbroken, but I heard when she's called Northern when she was talking, and I could try and grasp some of the points that she was making, but she was also contradicting herself a bit. And personally, I've always made my voice known that I'm for the movement, no matter what. I'm not going to waver, and I just want to encourage comrades to keep strong. Whatever we are doing is working. Little by little, we are chipping off the stone slowly, and this is evident. As much as what details is the two CSs, I don't want to go into details, but that shows he's feeling the pressure. So we shouldn't give up. But I would want everyone else to comment on some of the things I've been seeing on the timeline, in which I don't understand. Like there was there was a white person that I saw on the TL, who I don't know who this person was, and he was masked. Maybe someone can comment on that. And then I had one major suggestion when I was listening to us when we were saying about not wanting to do bloodshed. One of the tactics that I was thinking could help for the money that we don't need in our banks. What are your thoughts on us pulling out the disposable income in the economy that we don't need the government to be borrowing from? Because I heard the bonds they are taking, most of them are going to buying firearms that they are killing us. They are using our own money to weaponize it against us. Like if you don't need the disposable income in the economy, you can pull it out.
Oh, I think we're losing you there, Easter.
Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
that's better.
So I was saying that what are your thoughts on us pulling out the disposable income that we don't need in the banking sector, since the government is also using that to weaponize our own money against us? That's what they are using to do, to embezzle the funds that they're embezzling is still our money. So probably we can just bank the bare minimum. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. And the fact that our heroes were able to handle the people who were hired yesterday is a right move in a right direction. So I don't know what you think on that one. Kindly comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this moment, I do not know how that will look like. We might need an economist to come and show us how that will look like when we do it on the ground. Just one girl from a legal background, no economics background at all. Sorry, Easter, but if anybody in the group in the chat has in the conversation has an answer for her, please do reach out. And yes, it's noted the conversation, the advice on not shedding more blood. We gotta think of other ways. It's I know some people are pushing more and more for going to the streets, but at some point it becomes very, very difficult. And one of the people was 6,000 who said, I lost my glasses yesterday, and I wanted to have a conversation with him before he left, and I just wanted to say that, look, if you lose your glasses and you don't have a means to get them back, it takes a good Samaritan who perhaps had some money to get you those. So that good Samaritan could be a business owner who perhaps can only make that money if the running of the business is not interfered with as much. So let's and it goes back to the conversation I've been having since earlier this morning, that we cannot make everybody our enemy. If the enemy was the government and the systems that are failing us, we shouldn't let that spill to the common mwananchi, who are also business owners and all that. I'm gonna move to Jaden, then Youth for, what is this? Youth for Change, and then Eucalyptus.
Hi, thank you. Lady Justice, if I talk to Matthew, you may raise your hand and I will stop. But I would like to start by talking about, I've heard someone say earlier that we should stop saying Ruto should go and start saying he should work. And immediately, like, it triggers me to notice that this guy, immediately he came in, he started negating every good thing that was there. Now, university education is unaffordable for my brothers and sisters, my siblings. They will not go to university. So he has not done anything better there. The health sector is ruined. You heard 6,000 talked about having a relative who cannot go to hospital in Bungoma. So nothing is going well. So we will keep fighting, and there is no way you can stop a revolution whose time has come. I have heard kuna millennials, kuna older generation wanasema we tried, we failed, like we don't know what will happen. But what do we do? Whether we go out to the streets, people will die, whether we go or not. If they die in silence in those hospitals that don't have funding, they don't have medicine, they will still die. And what we want for Kenya is not to continue the same way. We don't want it to be this way 30 years later, when I have my own kids. 10 years from now, when someone else gets kids, they have the same problems. Education is being fucked up. Now, what next? And we have a person, first and foremost, you promised to do many things. You even said in the first 100 days, I will do A, B, C, D. You've had 2 years. There is no single thing that you've done that has gone right. Fake fertilizer, that is like you killing farmers. That's like, it's not a great thing to be happy about, because we should be moving from agriculture being the backbone of our economy to becoming manufacturers and assemblers. But you kill the source of food of our parents, of the poor people that you rode on to get to power. Your intentions were never good from the beginning. His intentions, the president, were not good. Even when he was to become a vice president, his intentions were not good. When he became a minister under the coalition government, his intentions were not good. He rejected a katiba in 2010 that now he serves under, which he is not respecting. Not even one bit of this katiba he has respected. The most basic. Why you can have police out to scare us, but do you really have to kill us? What kind of a coward are you that you have to kill them? Go kill them at night. A thief, a coward who does. There's a website, the Global Intelligence, which leaked that Ruto, the e-citizen money, everything that we've been doing, all these things, do what e-citizen, we have to go in digital. It's only for him to steal every single penny. Mpaka ile housing levy. How much money does this man want? He has everything. Leo chopa yake ilikuwa nazurura kwa anga za Nairobi. This is a crazy human being. And having that, we have learned that he's a student of Moi. You can imagine how he adored that man. So he cannot believe that we are trying to stop him from being the guy he grew up under, who he wants to, he was his God. So this is the only problem we have. We have a money thirsty, a very hungry, greedy person. And he has surrounded himself with equally greedy conmen. That's why he can fire corrupt people, then like fanya changa, put back, because he is not ready to change. He doesn't want, there is no goodwill, there is no even any, he won't give us an inch. At least hata tudanganye na technocrats. Tuone ameleta watu wapya. Unasikia huyu amefutwa, akareta assistant wake, PA, ex-girlfriend wake. This guy is mad. Na nasikia watu wakisema maybe huyu msee ni mwenda wazimu na hatujui. We are dealing with a mwenda wazimu. Exactly. So we have to keep going. Anga yetu hawezi kuizima. Kama tumekasirika, revolution movement imefika, tutaendelea. Akitua hatumalize sawa, but people will still go. Hata kama watu watakuja hapa to discourage. At times I hear someone talking, go to their profile and look. I check what they've been talking about. Ni mtu ako kwa government, sijui kama ni mtoto wa Ruto ama ni wenye waliitwa State House wakapewa 500 per day, sijui what. So like una mtu atatuuzia uoga, wenye wanataka kwenda wataenda, wenye wata give up ni sawa, but hii kitu itaendelea. Allies tuko nao already, si lazima wakue ati mrengo fulani. We want individuals who have proven that they are on the side of the people. Hata wacha wale walivote no, si wote wako on the side of the people. They did not vote no because they even knew what the finance bill was about, because we want individuals. Like nimesikia mtu ametaja Okiya Mtata. I have seen that guy. He can walk in the streets with people. He's not afraid. He doesn't even need bodyguards because he's safe, because he knows I haven't done anything. Sijaiba hata shilingi ya mtu. You know, those are the people we want. Those will be our allies. He's not the leader of this movement, but if I was asked in future when we have achieved our goal, Ruto has gone, I would consider, oh yeah, he's going there, yeah, no problem. But if I see a con man trying to come in, and I'm not saying con man referring to Honorable Raila Odinga ni sawa, amefanya yake ama nani. Earlier today I listened to another old politician in a space in a radio station, and they are making sense. But as someone said earlier, individuals, not coalitions, not political parties. They are not, a political party will not be our allies. Sisi ni individuals, a group of people who are tired. That's it. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana, Jaden. Next was Youth for Change, and then Eucalyptus, tafadhali.
Oh, hi, thank you for this opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
So first thing, like you can negotiate with Ruto, you can't have a dialogue with Ruto. Those people who used to know or have read about Hitler, that's how Ruto is. That guy would rather he can't watch like himself go down at all. He'll do everything that it takes to deal with us. So us back in back down, he will deal with us individually one by one. So we have to be strategic on way forward in one unity. First, I don't know why people have not thought of our main issue is about debt. We have been taking so many debts and we don't even know when these debts are being taken. And the debts are being taken, they are going to people's pocket. And this money is funded by the West. The West, they have representatives in this country who are those diplomats and high commissioners and all those wherever. And those people, they live in they are the UN embassy, those offices who are in Gigiri, those areas. And it's so sad, like we are going through such a situation in Kenya. People are dying when these diplomats, they haven't articulated issues happening in Kenya. They haven't like even called out President Ruto being corrupt. They haven't even said anything. Yet when you meet them individually, they always say, oh, Kenya is this way, the most corrupt, but they would never speak up and say like Ruto is this way. So I think the next time or any time when people are going out, they should also demonstrate in this area. Our voices have to be heard in this area. There is no way we can be demonstrating in other areas, then the places where even the pain. Kwa sababu tunaweza kuwa yes tumeenda airport, but wao wako huko kwa manyumba zao, those places in Lunda, those offices, all those average market kwenye wanakuwa wamejificha. Life is normal for them. At least if at all we have to suffer as a country, then they are not suffering. Yet they are the people, they are part of our problem. Definitely before Ruto is given money and the government is given money, they are always consulted in one way or another. And they always have their kuna ile kidogo pia they are given. So for us to have a way forward and for all this movement to be felt, even them the diplomats. So the next time watu wanatokea, watu wenye wanaishi huko Rwaka na hizo side, they shouldn't forget those areas, because we can't be others wanakufa Githurai when the people who, when your main problem, them life is normal for them in those Runda area, those UN Avenue huko, like, yeah. So thank you.
Asante sana for that submission. I'm going to ask who was here, Youth for Change, and then yule mwingine ameenda wapi? Ameanguka. Anguka nayo. Damn. Yule ameanguka nayo. Okay. Youth for Change, please go ahead, and then I'm going to invite Homo Sayansi after Youth for Change.
Oh, I've already spoken.
Oh, you're the one who spoke?
Yeah.
Okay. Homo Sayansi, please speak, and then Mbugu.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Oh, thank you for confirming you can hear me. So, I'm deeply sorry for the loss of our heroes. May God grant solace and strength to their families as they navigate through this period of grief. It is so saddening. Like young people, we're trying to fight for our country. We're trying to fight for our rights. We're followed into our homes. There's a certain video I've seen which was circulating in the internet yesterday evening in Zimmerman. A man crying opened the door for me. Then the man was, I'm hearing that the man was shot dead. Akisema funguliwe mlango. I feel even to understand kwani siku hizi imefika to a point makarau wanafuata mtu mpaka mtu ukikimbilia kwa nyumba usalama, and then you are being followed into the house. Na ilikuwa usiku, si eti mtu alikuwa na protest usiku. In which country are we, bana? Is this the same person who promised us like he will protect lives? Is this the same person who told us there will be no extrajudicial killings in his government? No. Whoever is coming here to tell us, whoever is trying to tell us we should stop saying Ruto must go and say Ruto must work, I think the person is an hypocrite. Is very stupid mtu anakuja kutuambia such a things, because this person whatever he promised us heaven, now is delivering hell. Mtu huwezi tuambia kitu utafanya hivi na unafanya exactly opposite of whatever you promised. Niko sure Ruto leo hii hata kama ataulizwa about the shootings zenye zilifanyika jana pale Mirema Zimmerman 44, I'm very sure Ruto atasema there was no live bullet which was used there. Hakukuwa na shooting yoyote. Hiyo ni kitu yani hata sifai ku doubt. Hiyo ni kitu atakataa. He won't accept. There is nothing Ruto that yani hata I fail to understand this guy. Amefanya tu maisha imekuwa ngumu. Na I fail to understand why is it so hard for him to sort out ama to address the issues tushamwambia. Yeye anafanya the issue inaendelea kuescalate, anafanya vitu zinakuwa ngumu. Na vitu tumemwambia tu ni simple things. Fanya hivi, fanya hivi, fanya hivi. And hii kitu imefika mali imefika, it is no longer a Gen Z thing. It is all of us Kenyans now. Si eti ni mambo ya Gen Z ama nini. Juu personally my parents are supporting these things. Nimepatana with elder people wana support this thing. Unaona? So ikitu sisi ni emergency ni ya Wakenya sisi wote, kila mtu kama Mkenya tulisha agree we are one thing, hakuna mambo, we are tribeless. Sisi wote ni Wakenya, hakuna story wewe ni Mkikuyu, wewe ni Mkale, wewe ni Mluya, wewe ni hakuna, all of us we are Kenyans. So we fighting for our own country. So mimi history tunaambiwa hata I feel how I wish we had a way yenye tunaweza toa msemi na 2027 it is too far, tutakuwa tumekuwa too fucked up enough mpaka 2027 ni mazi. Hapana. How can you come on television, you acknowledge your cabinet was incompetent, and then you unafanya tena kunominate the same cabinet ulisema ni incompetent na unarudisha watu into office? Who does that? Nimeona clip yenye ilikuwa inasema sijui huyo sijui ni Soipani tu ya was his girlfriend kitambo. So his bedroom affairs anaanza kutuletea kuziput into the cabinet. How will your girlfriend deliver? Hata akiwa na mistake, how are you going to rectify? Yeah, hapana. This is not the Kenya we want. This is not the Kenya we want. Since we want competent leaders.
Asante
Sorry?
Omusayansi. Asante. 1 minute, please.
Okay. I think let me just land. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Karibu sana. Omusayansi, I would like you to withdraw something when you call somebody stupid in the platform. No,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry if I went astray and used some words which are not good. I withdraw that.
Asante sana. Asante sana.
Okay.
So we're
Okay.
gonna go
Thank you.
to Mbugu and then we will go to Tynet in that order.
Lady Justice, sorry, let me interrupt.
Go ahead.
As so much is going on, and guys, I would like you to have keep your mental sanity. What is happening? Sometimes you need a walk. You need to do something that keeps your head very clear, because you hear Musa. Okay, that name is so hard.
Omusayansi.
Omusayansi. When such kind of words they come out and unleashed easily like that, it's based on what we're feeling. So once in a while, get offline, have a walk, have a conversation with somebody so that it can get off your chest, and try to keep your mental sane, because whatever you're seeing on the screens, they're really perturbing, they're really disturbing. So you need also to protect yourself as a person as much as you're facing all this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that reminder, Be Real. Wako wapi huyu Mbugu? Please go ahead and then Tynet. Mbugu dadi, utakuwa umevaa hapo suti na uniski.
Hey, everyone, Lady Justice.
Yes.
I'm sure you can hear me now.
Yes, you're audible.
I will really want to be extremely brief.
Perfect. You'll make me a happy woman.
Wonderful. Now, and good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
From wherever you're listening from. So basically, I want to agree with a lady who spoke. I think I can't remember her name. And it's something that I've actually shared in other spaces about it's time to also occupy the UN offices and occupy the Netherlands embassy, which is in Riverside, and also make our voices. You see, the whole business of going to CBD. I think it's we've done that often, and I wouldn't say we have used and abused that privilege, because at the end of the day, the agenda of the Mandamano is still achieved, which is a disruption. Because Mandamano, without it being disruptive, then it's not really protest. Any protest that the government will come shake hands with us and tell us we've heard what you said, and we will see what we can do. Basically, that's bullshit. So it's time to engage and shift gears and now head to those other institutions. Secondly, I don't think we should be really be afraid of the goons. Reason being, anytime these guys are sending the goons, basically they're just like admitting that the police cannot protect the people. It's typically what they did by passing a motion very fast to allow the military to be on the streets. They were basically admitting a state of emergency without really acknowledging that we have a crisis in the country. So whenever they send goons, basically they're just sending a wrong image out there. And for me, the more they send goons, the better, because what you're just admitting that you cannot even protect people's businesses, investments in this country, or rather tomorrow, instead of if maybe something happened, you can easily send goons to my business to take it down. So I think the more they send the goons, even better. They're just wanajikaranga hao wenyewe. Then lastly, uh, if there's a way also we can identify some of these border guys, especially like I know the group that was there yesterday came from a big chunk of them came from Kibra. We should also look for a way to deal with them, either boycott using them or something. Let them also see whatever they're doing. They're betraying a cause that everyone will enjoy once. Once it's all done. So with those few remarks, I pass on the mic to the next person, please.
Asante
Thank you.
sana.
All right, and then again, Lady Justice, my name is Mbugu. My name is Mbogwa.
Mbugua. Okay, sawa sawa. Pole kwa
Yes.
Sorry for murdering your name. I don't like that
Yes.
when people murder my name either. So we had Tynet. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Karibu.
I think, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, mine is very simple. Me, first of all, I'm against the idea that we merge with the opposition. The only thing we should pick individuals, like maybe, for example, youthful leaders like Babu Owino, who is good at mobilizing people. Because right now we need numbers and we cannot merge with Ruto. Because if you do that, we will come for individual people. Because I'm very sure Ruto has people in this world now that after the meeting, these people will give him all the information and the individuals who host these kind of spaces. I think that is all I can say now. All that has been said, I'm only against the idea of merging with the opposition. But we can pick individuals who are bright and good mobilizers like Babu Owino. Thank you.
Perfect. I love that we all see the importance of having allies. So it doesn't matter whether where the ally is coming from, but as far as the allies mandate or even vision is in alignment with our vision, I believe that is good. Because for me, I think that is one of the big things that we're missing in the movement. And so having the right allies is key. We'll take it to Eli Soja and then Munyiri tafadhali. Eli or Eli?
Yes, I can hear you, Lady
Oh, please
Justice.
go ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to send my sincere condolences to the families of the comrades who we have lost so far, and I wish our comrades who are in hospitals a faster recovery. And we have scared him away, and now he's unbalanced and he is kind of confused. The other guys, the Kalonzo, I understand that Kalonzo is not against going to the government, but he is against the number of posts that Wiper Party, or rather, what ODM is leaving for the other opposition parties to share. So even him, if he is given a better deal, he can easily merge with the government. So if we start going to merging with the opposition parties and opposition individuals, we are going to lose it when they at the top speak the same language with the government.
Okay, Eli,
right now,
I have a question though. Maybe you joined a little bit later, but the conversation earlier on was that we only have three options to Ruto must go, which one is either he resigns, and if he resigns, Gashagwa takes over for a few months, then we go into election. or a military takeover. So, but the people are not keen on having Gachagua taking over, nor even nor even the military taking over. So, which gives us the next option, which is an impeachment. So the reason why the conversation of having allies within the parliament comes in is that we can sway them to our side. We know very well right now that the government side has more numbers, but if we can sway as many people on our side, it can help with the impeachment process. What do you think?
Uh, as things are now, it would be difficult to push for an impeachment for William Ruto with clear reasons. You know, right now, if he is striking deal with the opposition side of ODM, then automatically they already have the numbers without the ODM guys. So if the ODM get into government as they indicate so, then it will be difficult to force an impeachment motion through the parliament. So Gachagua, the question of Gachagua being president after William Ruto resigns, is just the same thing. Gachagua and Ruto are just one same thing. And Gachagua does not take over for 90 days. I don't think so. I think he take over up to 2027, from my understanding. Again, the issue, I just want to reiterate on the issue that happened yesterday where the government hired goons to come and tackle us. I think that one clearly shows that the government has panicked and they are standing really low to an extent of using money against using the taxpayers' money to bribe people to go to the street and tackle demonstrations. I think we are achieving a lot and we should just proceed on the same pace and we should not relent. At some point, we may not succeed on removing Ruto immediately out of power now, but what we are achieving is beyond that. First of all, we have achieved a great measure of tarnishing his name, and everybody in Kenya right now knows that William Ruto is not the man for the job. So that one is our first achievement. So coming 2027, even William Ruto himself already knows that it will be difficult for him and most likely not possible for him to get a re-election. So we should not relent on that. We may not succeed on removing him immediately right now, but if we continue pushing the way we are doing so, we are going to achieve it in one way or another. Thank you so much.
Asante sana, Eli. I'm going to go to Munyiri, please, and then Tevin. Munyiri, 3 minutes.
Thank you for the mic. The biggest problem I think we have is the political class. We don't have any other problem. Ruto is the same as Uhuru, who is the same as Kibaki, as far as their mindsets go, and as far as politics go. So that's our biggest problem right now. The only difference is that Ruto is more brutal, and he is more. The difference is on personality. The difference here is a personality thing. Some of them aren't cruel, mild people, but in terms of mentality, they're all the same. So our biggest problem right now is the system, and we need to burn down this system because it's not working for us. By burning it down, I mean we need to get rid of it, come up with new systems that are going to work for us. This thing was inevitable. Across African countries, this will be the norm for the next decades. It's not a special case in Kenya. This thing is inevitable. It will happen in many other African countries because of the youth bulge and the fact that the current systems that were created by people who are right now in their 60s and 70s are not working for us. Nothing seems to be working for us. So this thing was inevitable. The systems will change. I understand that people right now, the most important question is how to deal with our current president. I support the streets approach. The streets approach so far is working. I think we should attack on multiple avenues. The other avenues being the policy approach. We all agree here right now that we usually spend a lot of money on it's called the public on senators, MPs. We usually spend a lot of money for people who don't even align with our needs. So the referendum approach, the Okoa Kenya approach is also an approach. And since we have some strengths, our strengths right now is the fact that we have the numbers, we as the youth have the numbers, and we as the youth have the ability to mobilize. So based on those two factors, I think we should also use this approach of Okoa Kenya. We stop paying so much, we stop putting these people on a pedestal. One of the problems we have is that we put our leaders on a pedestal. So we think that they are some kind of demigods. So I really want us, as much as we go to the streets, as I finish up, as much as we are going to the streets, we also go the policy way, the referendum way. We need to stop these people from earning all this money, and they just represent a class which doesn't align with the common monarchy. Thank you.
Asante sana Munyiri. Tevin, please, 3 minutes. Thank you. Tevin?
Yes, asante sana. Thank you for the mic, Lady
You're
Justice.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, so what I want to talk about, guys, we need to be serious. We need to be serious because the way Ruto is doing things is not right. Because if I can recall back the bodies that were found at Kware, this is how government work. A government can hire a serial killer from outside the country, give them permit to come here, kill our innocent people, then deport them back, then dispose the bodies at near a dam site or whatever, because that dam site was near to the police station, if you can see. So the thing that we should do, we should be going outside daily. Kama ni maandamano kuwe kila siku. Because tukiweka maandamano kila siku, wenye watatoa Ruto ni watu wa biashara. Sisi sasa. The business people. Because if you can go outside there daily for even a week, because Kenya, our revenue niseme tuna collect kitu kama 4 billion per day. If Kenya loses 4 billion in 7 days, that's how much. Almost our business, niseme the business imeharibika tu hapa Kenya tu kabisa. Hakuna shit itaendelea. Na wanabiashara ndio watamtoa. Si eti sisi sasa. The business people watamtoa tu kwa kiti.
Thank you very much, Tevin. Let's go to Lazarus Gatti, then Wanjala. 3 minutes, please. And also, let's remember to follow one another. It's very helpful for us when we are trying to spread information. When you're on the grounds and the media cannot show the stories, you can always share the stories, and the more following you have, the better, and you can reach big audiences. Who was going next? We lost somebody there. Wanjala?
Okay. Thank you so much. Hope everybody is hearing me. First of all, I want to send my condolences to the people and the fighters who lost their lives. And to begin with, to say that at this time, we have to team up with anyone actually who is supporting our movement at this particular time. but as individuals, not as the party. We cannot include any party here, like any, or the opposition parties cannot join us, but people can join us as individuals. Those who wish and feel that they want a working Kenya, they want a better Kenya, actually they can team up with us. I also wanted to address the issues of goons, like the ones who were released on the streets yesterday. Marching forward, we should sound a warning and uh, send a message, a very serious message to the Kenyans, those ones who want to counter the protests, that anyone who comes out to counter our protests should be viewed or should be seen as a public enemy. And anything that befalls you, because at the end of the day, the government is killing us, the police have shot our people, so many people have lost their lives, people are still angry, people are annoyed, and you're sending goons to come on the streets to counter the protests, to destroy people's properties, to disrupt the peaceful protesters, to maim and injure some peaceful protesters. So such a person, I think we have got nothing else but to lynch and do a demo to such a person, so that it sends a wave to the rest of the people who feels that they can be paid a few coins to come and disrupt a peaceful protesters. Yeah, then something else, I just wanted to probably maybe talk about the president. I think he's, at one hand, I feel he's the most privileged president to have ever found any conducive environment where he can now act upon those ones who have stolen the money, those who have looted, to fight corruption, because now he'll be acting holistically in the name of responding to the Kenyans and the young generation who wants a better working nation for this country. But now, to my disappointment, I think the president looks like he has gone back to his olden ways or olden tricks of promising and doing things contrary to what we expect. From the time he fired even the CIS, the CS and the CISS, we didn't expect that he's going to reappoint people like Kindiki in the same positions when we still have, cases still going on, the Kware, there's so many other, murder cases, massacre cases in our country, and still reappointing them in the same positions. That is like, and in fact, addressing us on top of vehicles. That shows that he's not serious, he's not ready. He can actually work today and go down to the history as one of the best presidents we have ever had. Because this is the time, now he has the advantage, now he has actually the guts to go ahead and fight corruption without fear or favor, because he'll be responding to our call. But he has completely refused to work. So today, we just want to, like someone has suggested, we have to paralyze most of these, public institutions, like now the airport and all those. And if we do that, like frequently, and or reach a point and say that now we are going to do demos on a daily basis, to the point that he'll have nothing remaining but to surrender. Because when we give them time, again, we give them time to think and to to counter our protests. And probably this, I felt at some point that it was now fizzling out, because now when you look at the streets, more numbers are reducing on the streets, because now this is how the political class is now bringing in the goons on the streets to come and steal even from the peaceful demonstrators, to come and break into people's shops. And you see this one now, it disrupts everything and scares off those ones who are willing to, like here in Mombasa, I witnessed a few protesters, some of the goons came and attacked a few protesters, and unfortunately there were just a few ladies there. They snatched their handbags, stole everything, their shoes, and even some were stripped off, and then they ran away with everything. So these are some of the things that politicians are using to counter the protests. Then something else, my disappointment with the Azmio ODM, so to speak. What they did, what they have just decided to do is something. Actually, like when you look at now Mombasa, looks like even the protests are not going to be so much pronounced or visible as they were, because now with the other Joho factors being rumored to be actually going into joining the government, it looks like now some of the protests are going to be not so strong as they used to be. Because ukiangalia saa hizi ni kama opposition, they have left us on our own. They don't want to care how many people have died. And when you look at how Ruto did his reappointment, he reappointed in his own strongholds and left the stronghold for Azimio to pick their nominees. Like you look at Nyanza, the CS Owalo was dropped. Look at Western, Namwamba was dropped, and probably they are suggesting Oparanya to fill in. In coastal region, Aisha Juma was dropped, and probably they are suggesting Joho to fill in. And he only reappointed in his own strongholds, like the Rift Valley and the Mount Kenya. So this means that even the politicians you are talking about that they are going to support us, there is no any political party that is remaining with us, the protesters, the young generation, who feels that this country must work and move forward. So what's next? That is the other question. If somebody has probably any projection of what we should take to spearhead our protests to a meaningful a place, then should actually factor in. This is the only time we can work. Just to conclude, this is the only time we can work. If we cannot succeed this time to finish these corrupt leaders, then probably it might take another 50 years, and we shall be old, and we shall be, no, probably we shall not be here at that time, or we shall be very old to make any meaningful change. It will take another 50 years for such a change to recur. So this is the only time that we can actually fight, because it's not the time to give up. Thank you so much for the time for airtime you've given me to air my views and make my submissions. Thank you so much.
Asante sana Wanjala. Thank you for those wonderful submission. Emalio and then Masharia, please. 3 minutes. Emalio Duke. Looks like Emalio is not there. So Masharia, please. Or just unmute yourself, Masharia.
Okay. Sorry for that. Wanjala, mute your mic. I can make Anyway, so one thing people are supposed to learn, if the opposition has been around for way longer than I've been alive, I'm what you call Gen Z. And if the opposition would have wanted a better Kenya for the people that were alive during that time and up until now, they would have already done it. So I don't see what will happen when the opposition is involved in all this. They have not made any change over the past 20 years that I've been alive. Even before those years, they have not made any change. So the opposition can go fuck themselves and leave this movement to Gen Z, because we are people who are goal oriented. We don't care about money. We just want a prosperous country. Moving on, people who are still relying on. Yes.
Masharia, I have a request. Could you please withdraw the word F off?
Okay. There's no problem. You have to excuse me. Yeah. So moving on.
We are presenting ourselves as leaders who can lead this country. So it has to start with our presentation and how we all that. So thank you for understanding.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, it's about people still. I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, but stop. People are still relying on God to save us. God could have already saved us from Ruto, from getting into power back in 2022 if he wanted to. So right now we need to be realistic people. We need to be factual people. If you want to make change will start from us. So people wenye wanauliza mambo sijui Mungu ataituokoa lini, hii mambo ni yako. God does not live in Kenya. You are the one who lives in Kenya. So kazi ni kwako. You see? Yeah, and also, guys, there's just one thing I want to say. You know, this thing about, you know, corruption, and you know, you're not, you know, leaders are not the only corrupt people. You know, citizens also influence corruption, because let's, and also, you know, election of bad leaders. For example, mtu akitaka, let me just, you know, let me criticize the older generations. So mtu, if any person anataka kuwa a leader of today or tomorrow, ashajua akikuja apatie tu hawa watu hapa chini 200, 100, 500 watamvotia. Ask yourself, hiyo 200 nitaikula mara ngapi kwa siku, ama kwa hiyo miaka 5 watakuwa in power? Ask yourself that. Huyo mtu akiingia hapo amepatia almost, amepatiana, let's say akipatiwa tu kama 200, hiyo pesa ni mfuko yake, hiyo pesa tutataka kuirudisha. Trust me, when that guy gets into office, kitu ya kwanza atafanya si maendeleo, si kuwasaidia. Kitu ya kwanza atafanya ni kurudisha pesa yake. So guys, when we are electing leaders, try to use your mind. Usi-elect leaders based on wealth, because any incompetent fool, you know, any wealthy fool can be a leader just to say because they have money. So yeah, when we are choosing our leaders, take time to listen to the person talking, regardless of their age, gender, tribe, you know, background, all of it. A person's mind is the most wealthiest thing a human being can have. When, you know, when you have bright ideas, ukiletea watu ideas nzuri, you know, you are looking out for their future. So people, when you are listening, guys, when you are listening to somebody who wants you to put them somewhere in government to, you know, to represent them, sikiza ideas zake. Hii mambo ya mtu kuambia tion tutatenga, tutawapatia 200, sijui tutafanya nini, no. Somebody should have realistic plans, you know, things that make sense to the common mwananchi, kitu itasaidia kila mtu in the eventuality, you know. Sai, for example, let's say I've been seeing cases of, you know, dams that were been commissioned, sijui ni wapi, I've been seeing posts about that in the timeline, sijui dams were commissioned in 2018, sijui and what. So hiyo pesa ilienda wapi, you know? This thing of kuchagua leaders because akona pesa ama anawapatia 200, watu wanafaa tu kuacha. It's embarrassing, it's a disgrace kwanza to the older generations. Guys, these older people, you need to understand, ask the young people, we are fighting for our future, the future that you are not able to fight for when you are our age, because Moi hakuwaruhusu mpigania haki zenyu, lakini sasa hii juzi tunapigania haki zetu. You see ourselves, you see the Gen Z as rebels. Kindly stop seeing us as rebels. We are the revolution. We want to change Kenya, you know, to be the best. For even, for example, right now I'm 21 years old. In the next 20, I'll be 41. In the next 20, I'll be retired. In the next 40, I'll be retired. I'll be 61. When I retire, mi nataka kwendanga hosi, nakaa hapo kweli, nagojea dawa, daktari ni mmoja kaunti nzima kweli. Hatuwezi endelea hivyo, guys. Hii kitu ya kuchagua watu incompetent people in power tutaacha. And also, as I finish, the information you're getting here is very important. People have ideas, people are wise, people are bright. Mtu ataongea kitu maana hapa, usikanyagie hiyo kitu. Take that information you have, spread it to another person, guide another person, waelewe mbona nchi tunataka ibadilishwe ikuwe hivi. People are living on the bare minimum because they don't have any other, you know, hawana information that there's a better, hawana better days. They don't have any information of better days. For example, the police are, I think, among the poorest paid people in Kenya, but saa hao ndio tunasumbua nao kwa streets. Mi niko hapa kupigania a better living, and huko hapo kunipinga. Do you see the sense in that? Yani, you're fighting for what's good for you, yani like kids. I don't want to, you know, to trash these older generations, but I think most of these people, of you guys who are older than, you know, Gen Z, you need to take a step back, rethink your decisions, look at what the younger generations are doing. Don't disrespect or discredit somebody because they are younger than you. Take some time to consider, put yourself in that person's shoes, you know, consider yourself. If it were you in that situation, what would you do? Sahii tunapigania nchi, si juu ati yangu, juu ati mimi ni Mkikuyu, juu sijui mimi ni Mkamba, juu sijui mimi nimetoka wapi, sijui nimetoka coast, sijui hapana. We are fighting for Kenya because we are all Kenyans. A person in power should not, haifai kukuuma ati juu yeye ni Mkamba. A person in power inafaa kukuuma juu afanyi chenye inafaa kufanywa. If there is competent people in government, trust me, hatutaongea kuhusu mambo ya kuwa sijui hakuna Mkikuyu, hakuna Mkale, hakuna Mmasai. Hatuwezi kuongelea hizo vitu, but ona sahi the incompetence in governance inaletwa mpaka to the people, mpaka wanacheza hizo tribal cards tena. Gachagua huko akilia mambo ya sijui watu wa mlima. Kwani government taxing tu watu wa mlima pekee? That is just a question to you everybody here. The government does not just tax people from the Mount Kenya region. It does not tax people from the coastal region. It tax Kenyans regardless of the tribe you are. Hata kama ni Mkale na preso ni Mkale, bado unataxiwa. So guys, I think people need to use their minds. Critical thinking is something important. Please, na naomba. Yeah, thank you.
Asante sana Masharia. Could we please go to Africa Watch and then Abraham? Dakika tatu.
Hi, Lady Justice.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Now, I'm gonna be quick. I just want to make a few observations. Number one, because I want to encourage everybody who has been part of this particular movement, and also send my condolences to those that have fallen. Now, personally, I was a casualty. I was abducted on the 24th at night, just from my house in Nairobi, and I ended up being dumped somewhere after 3 days in Tarbo. But here I am, still breathing. I had a few injuries. Now, I just want to emphasize on one thing. Number one, this movement is not about age, it's not about gender, it's not about tribe, it's not about social status, it's about Kenya. And I want to echo the sentiments of Lady Justice and some of the speakers who came before me, that we have to do everything collectively. As much as the people who have been in the streets, majority of them have been the Gences, but you can agree with me that looking at what has been happening across the country, the demographics and the pictures, the photos that you have been seeing circulating, even in the places where we have not gone, do not lie. So we can conclude that everybody, I mean, in terms of different ages, have actually participated in the protests. So number one, once we begin doing what we are doing, we must all agree that now we are all becoming politicians. Because what is politics? When you talk about politics, we are looking at affairs of cities, affairs of regions, affairs of countries, of nations, in terms of the set of activities that are associated with making decisions in groups or other forms of power relations among individuals, such as distribution of resources or the status. You know, many a times people quote and say, we don't want to involve politicians. But actually, by the fact that we are participating, not we are participating, we are pursuing politics, and in one way or the other, you are a politician by participating in what you are participating in. And it's important that we embrace everybody and identify our common enemy. The common enemy here is the failures that have been carried out by those who have been in power. And these failures are the ones that we are fighting. These failures are the ones that we need to be corrected. Now, we should also appreciate that some of the people, the older generations that we are referring to, of course, we may not have been there when they were fighting, but I believe that they also contributed so much, because like from the history that we hear some of the things that used to happen during Moi's time. If we are doing whatever we are doing during Moi, probably none of us would be existing by now. But there are people who did it, and this revolution has been in phases. And we need to appreciate that they have contributed much up to where we are. And therefore, we should not look at them as enemies or dwell on their failures, but we need to strategize by coming together. And I want to emphasize that in all cases, even when we look at some of the successful revolutions across the world, they have always been successful because of the level of organization. And at this particular level, we must agree that without any organization, we are not going to make it to the level that we want to make it. If we stay scattered and we don't have any level of organization, and then at the same time you're saying we don't want politicians, you know the politicians are getting organized. And when they get organized, they'll move on, and even come next election, we'll be surprised to see the same people because of the level of organization. I want to cite an example of what I saw in the streets. That was on 18th, when we were having the first protests, and even some pictures that have circulated. So now you realize that sometimes when we young people go to the streets, what happens when we see some politicians? There are some politicians who are not in government right now, but they were there before. And probably they even made money through some very funny ways. When they appear, you see young people being excited. And what do they say? Mazewe ni wetu, toa kakitu na wanatoa. Then now you ask yourself, do these people, do they really know what we are fighting and what we are trying to fight for? So unless we come to that realization, because we are fighting a culture, we are not just fighting an individual, but we are fighting a culture. One thing that we have to be aware is that suppose even President Ruto resigned today and we are not organized, you might find somebody else taking over who might even be worse than him, because it's about the mentality, the attitude that we have had. You have seen sometimes when young people contest, or when somebody contests for a particular seat and he does not have money, what do people say? We hata hakuna kitu yenye anatoa. Ni wakina nani wanasema hivyo? Ni sisi. Hawa watu wenye wako pale, ni nani aliwachagua? Ni sisi. They never elected themselves. We elected them. It's only that because choices have consequences, we realize that at the end of the day, these people, they were not the right people. So we need to get organized. Because when we identify the problems that are there, just quick, one of the areas that we are saying need to be fixed is education. Already our education system is gone, because this thing called CBC is an animal that nobody understands. Even when you go near the places where the trainings are being done or the workshops of the CBC, even the education officers involved, most of them will tell you they're just doing it because they've been told to do. They don't have faith in it. We did not need CBC. What we needed is to work on our curricula in terms of aligning it to the current needs, just improving on it, but not changing the structures or the name.
Please land Africa Watch.
Yes.
Thank you. Just finish in a minute.
Hello?
Finish in a minute.
Yeah. Just in a minute. So education is one area that we need to get back. Now, the issue of debt, we know that we have got an abnormal debt because most of these monies ended up in the pockets of people. Some of them never even got to Kenya, like, for example, the Eurobond. We are looking at our tax regime to have a friendly tax regime that promotes investments. We are looking at the issue of health, the rule of law. Why do we have many members in government than the opposition in parliament. It is because of the fact that the Political Parties Act was not followed. There are MPs that came in the name of opposition, and all of a sudden they shifted to the side of government. And that's why government has numbers. They can pass anything they want to pass without even the other people contributing. So, in general, let us get organized. How do we get organized? Let's try to get some leaders amongst us. Okay, I know people are saying, now we don't want leaders, but at the end of the day, how do you move ahead without having people who are organizing us? Because if you don't organize ourselves, somebody else will come from nowhere and organize us. So can we try to think out how we can be able to get people amongst ourselves to be able to do something that is coordinated, even if it is coming up with a memorandum that maybe we can petition those that are in government. Through that's such a kind of an organization we can push, because me, I still believe that it is through using the constitutional means that we'll be able to ascend to where we want to ascend to. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Africa Watch. And next, I think, is Abraham Khan and then Macharia. Macharia, you spoke earlier on, didn't you? Abraham, then Macharia. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Lady Justice. I just want to go straight to what I have in mind. One is that I think there's a generational push to break the status quo that has been there for a while. And I think the reason why there's rejection for even the old school politicians is because people want, and especially the Gen Zs, want things done differently. Right now, if someone can't tell you exactly what they're looking to see about this country in the next 10 years, I think that's what Gen Zs are actually resisting this time round. Number two, I think there's need for us to critically look at some of the things that are happening just to ensure that there's more accountability and justice, and especially in terms of the police executing their duties, and in terms of also us exercising our role as a citizenry, because there's some things that are a bit disheartening when you see that we have goons infiltrating demonstrations and the police are doing nothing. And when we have police brutality and the government is doing nothing, I think that points to a rogue government. And for the hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, that points to a critical situation about governance. It means that we have a rogue government in place. And there's need to push that there's more accountability on the side of the police, because I think we need to look at the Police Act, because the Police Act also, it says that, the police are not supposed to subject citizens to abuse. And none is calling them to account on this. The IPOA has been categorical that they are finding it very difficult to investigate police because they're not getting any information from them. And in case a police abuses or abuses their powers, actually they're liable to conviction for felony. So I think we really need to see how we can bring this to police officers to accountability, and to help also heal the nation from police brutality. There's also something that we also need to look at in the Police Act, that gives powers to the president to even request for police assistance from neighboring countries. And I think we've heard of, people whom we don't even know whether they are our police officers, being so brutal. I think we really need to come to look into this and even push for such for amendments that can take away that power from the powers, from that authority, from the powers that be at any point, so that in case we are pushing for justice in any way, then no one will be telling us that we don't know these people. They are not there. We really need to look into that. I think even as I finalize, we also need to look into the budget issues. Even as Gen Zs, again, we need to relook into this again and ask, how much did the government collect last year? What is our budget now? And we need now to scrutinize even the appropriations bill itself, so that we are not wrong-footed, because once we've achieved something, we may go back and relax. And before we realize what's happening, we can be wrong-footed. So some of those who are lawyers in our midst, those who are economists in our midst, accountants, those in different professional spheres, I think it's time that for those who are lawyers, we look through the law, see what law is being abused, what remedy should we have, and do we also need to activate and make sure that we have county assembly, citizen assemblies legalized in the grassroots, whereby people can come together, voice their issues, even now start petitions, like to IBC, without someone saying that it's not a lawful way of pushing for, say, the president to be impeached, because if Parliament is not playing its role, then how can citizens go ahead and still play their role in pushing for a rogue government to exit, rogue leadership to exit, and therefore get people who are more accountable in those offices? For now, I think that's it for now, and thank you very much for the time.
Asante sana, Abraham. Let's go to Masharia, please.
Thank you. Mine was just a few. So I think it's just a point out for Citizen TV. There's this guy called Polo Kemani who has been investigating about the mining industry, which apparently has been making a few people in Kenya billionaires. So kindly Citizen TV, skiza kenakwambia, do an investigation or do a report or something, something small about that, or something you can, so that watu wajue. Mi juzi ndio nilikam kujua, sijaitambua Tharaka Nithi, but apparently Tharaka Nithi has minerals amounting even to 240 million per day. That's not a small figure. So kindly, if you can do something about that, that is national wealth, that is public property, that is public money. That is something that can be used to help the people in general of Kenya. So if you can do something about that, Citizen TV, please, because we are fighting for integrity, accountability, and professionalism. Those are the three major things that are lacking in the Kenyan system. So thank you.
Asante sana Macharia. We're doing so well with timing. So today we're talking about the pressure point. Is it time for Gen Z and the opposition to unite? Is it time to start looking for allies to help us in the fight for Ruto must go, whichever form Ruto must go is gonna take. So we've been here for the past 10 hours, and I'm super tired. It's 2 o'clock where I am, 2 o'clock in the morning. But I love doing this for my people. So let's keep the conversation going, 3 minutes each. And everybody, don't worry, you'll get a chance to speak. In our spaces, we make sure everybody has spoken. And most importantly, let's remember to follow one another so that we can be able to play that critical role of citizen journalism. Asanteni sana. Next is Reject Finance. And then we will go to Power to the People, I believe. That's the name. Yes, Power to the People. Reject Finance, then Power to the People. Reject Finance Bill 2024. Mogo Owira. Owira, are you there? Looks like Owira isn't there. Power to the People, please go ahead. Mogo Owira is not there. Power to the People has disappeared as well. Power to the People, you're still there. Could you please speak? If not, I'm gonna drop you down. In the meantime, Lola, please go ahead. Lola and Angela? Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Lola, I can barely hear you. Could you please just drop and then come back? I will give you the microphone. Oh, in the meantime, could we have Engineer Okuna?
Thanks a lot, Lady Justice and Hillary, for this opportunity. I'm really against the issue of opposition and Gen Z unity. Actually, opposition has never had any ideology to transform this country. The opposition's ideology has been to take power. And even if you look at the policies that they have, is no much difference than what these guys have. And I can assure you that oppositions, once they get power through backdoor or any other means, they will glorify such oppressive government. And we can see that one, what happened in 2018 when finance bill was actually the problem that started in this country. We've had many problems, but 2018 handshake is where the oppressive government was glorified, where the finance bill was passed ceremoniously without even knowing that this finance bill, what will be the effect. And if you look at that finance bill, it made even Kenya to raise the limit of the loan they can take to almost 15 trillion. But you ask yourself, what have they done? What have they done with the money they borrowed? So, if to me, I'm a millennium, just early 30, I'm really against anything. I don't know what Gen Z says because they are still younger than me. But me, born in 1990s, I can categorically say that there's nothing that Gen Zs will share with opposition. And even today, if you look at the opposition, they don't know where they are going. They are at crossroads. They don't know whether they go through the AUK. They don't know whether they join Ruto and get some CS. They don't know whether they support President Uhuru Kenyatta and what he's doing. I don't know. Or they are not. They don't know whether they go through Gen Z. But to me, there is nothing that we will achieve with Gen Z uniting with opposition. There is nothing absolutely. Going forward, I think we should not elect people with based on the amount of handouts him or she can give out. That is the biggest challenge that we've had. We find out that during elections, and it is us Gen Zs and millennials, no one else. When you go to the rallies, those who always make politicians contribute money are Gen Zs, because when when you don't do that, they'll be all over. Now, once you have made a politician to give you 100 shillings or 200, you have already sold your ticket. You have already sold your policies. You have already sold your vote. So this guy will only be trying to come back to the village each and every time to supplement the 200 or the 100 shillings he gave you. So there are no policies at all. I looked at yesterday a women rep buying mkokoteni and giving to someone to supply water, ama to go buy water and supply. In this current world, me,
from the perspective of engineering, and I've done water for some years, many years. I'm a solar engineer. That with the solar in this country, with the technology that we have in pumping and motors, we can still go ahead as leaders to buy mkokoteni, telling you that we don't value what we have, we don't value the technology, we don't have any policy, we cannot come up with a bill.
It looks like we lost you there. Oh, go ahead.
Leaders.
Yeah.
What we can do as leaders is simply buying cocotenis and supplying. When we do such a thing, the problems in this country will never end. And actually, I'm just calling one or two people. I have a petition to Senate called a World Water Fund. World Water Fund, it takes a shape like the last mile electricity. We want to go and amend the water section, the Water Act we have of 2016, so that we have very many agencies for water, very many doing absolutely nothing, but they are consuming millions and billions of Kenya shillings. We need to have all these agencies merged together so that we have just one body called the World Water Fund. And this World Water Fund should have all the offices in the 290 constituencies so that their work is to ensure that we have a last mile water connection to our people, not giving cocotenis to go and fetch water and sell, but to ensure that water can be drilled, or we can have water dams or water pumps. Then we can have pumps that install in those water pumps, and then we have a last mile connections to each and individual person in his home, so that in the next 10 or 15 years, every Kenyan should have water in his home as a result of this petition. So I'm really against the opposition. Opposition is made up of very old people who have no idea, who have no basic knowledge of what is happening today. Even a simple technology that is required to assist you and me, they don't know. So therefore means you as a young person who should now come up with policies and even solutions, you want to seek the support of someone who doesn't know anything to do with solution, then you will always end up nowhere at all. So to me, as Gen Z said, we are moving on. Let us move on and ensure that both Gachagua and Ruto, both of them, go home. There's no one to be spared. There's no one to be spared. Gachagua has a lot of graft cases. Ruto now is the mastermind of all the graft cases around. The CS he appointed have a number of graft cases around. Even though, if you look at the constitution, I've really been in the courts as one of the guys who drafted the presidential petitions in 2022. If we look at the Ruto's appointments of CS, that one actually there's no case to be answered. I even saw some lawyers, they are going to the court. There's no case. The Constitution of Kenya says that you can be dismissed after you've been given a fair hearing. So what Ruto said in the State House are those political statements that can never be used in any court of law. So the appointment in the Constitution, Ruto can appoint anyone 100 times if he wishes so, and there's only can make somebody not to be reappointed again is the court or the parliament. So if the parliament have made a decision and they have passed a vote of no confidence that this person is not fit to serve in any office, then that person cannot be appointed anywhere. But what Trudeau did the other time is within the legal framework. What I know the parliament can only do is to ensure that those with the graft cases are not allowed to be to assume office. Otherwise, thank you a lot, Hillary, for this opportunity. I'll always be hearing what you guys have, even though I'm on site. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Okuna. Lola, and then Penyo Wacho, please.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, loud and clear, way better.
Awesome, thank you. I've been waiting for this opportunity. Thank you so much, Lady Justice. Such discourse should continue and we should not stop. I just thank the new. I'm happy for the new technology that and the new generation that we are living in, whereby we have access to such platforms, because this is what is going to bring about a lot of the changes that we are seeing. Just having all these voices consolidated in one place. So, firstly, let me just say I've just been noticing a few, sentiments here and there of people trying to kind of put down what the Gen Z have done so far, making these young people feel like they have not done as much. Let me just clarify at first. Gen Z's goal was to make sure that the finance bill was rejected, which they did, and they did it so well. And then afterwards, a lot of many other things were unearthed. And I feel it will be a bit unfair if we keep on bringing up Gen Z here and there, because literally they passed the baton to Kenyans. They were like, yes, we started this, we've done it, we've showed you we can do it. It's now that this baton should be passed to Kenyans, and we should stop relying on Gen Z. These are our young people dying every day on the streets. And it's no longer Gen Z, it's now Kenyans. Even the way the media is branding this latest protest should not all be about Gen Z. They started it and we loved it. And the last 1 month has been exhilarating. I've participated in some of those demonstrations, and I can tell you, for the first time I slept and I was like, my God, I'm on the right side of history. Like my Gen Z brother always tells me, I'm a millennial. He literally dragged me out of the house and was like, you are on the wrong side of history. What are you doing in the house? Because as a millennial, I grew up during the Moi era. We were scared out of our pants to ever even speak his name in our households. And now I'm here in a space whereby, I have a brother, Gen Z brother, who looks at me in the eye and tells me, look here, you have to be on the right side of history. These are the issues, and this is what we are going after. And they are very clear. They are very clear, unlike the demonstrations we've been seeing all these other times, being branded opposition demonstrations, which would usually end in handshakes and other agreements that we were unsure of, but we were just going with it so that we can have peace. I don't know what peace we were looking for at that time, but we were like, oh, finally, no demonstrations. But for the first time, we have agenda-based demonstrations and protests. So it's no longer a Gen Z thing. They are part of us. They're our children, they're our brothers, they're all that. So I want to commend Gen Z. I want to say the last 1 month, let nobody make you feel like you have done nothing. You guys have done something that even the so-called opposition that has been running for a very long time, led by one very prominent Raila Odinga, has not done this. They were shocked. They were shook. They are still shook. And the main point of some of these protests necessarily is never really to achieve a particular goal, like the way we are driving agendas towards, oh, so-and-so has to be out of this, so-and-so has to be... No, because by the end of the day, by the time one agenda was done, which was reject the finance bill, we realized that there were so many other things that we started to unearth, and it's becoming overwhelming. It's becoming quite overwhelming, and we have to deal now with one issue after the other. So one issue after the other, and it can be overwhelming for all of us. You're waking up today, you're hearing about mining. Already we are dealing with corruption. Our schools are the system is disintegrating. We don't know even whether the kind of education our children are having is any quality. We used to have very standard education in Kenya. It was recognized internationally. Right now, we even don't know where we are headed. Our healthcare system is in a mess. Like, it is a lot. So we don't have to put all these onto this one group of people. And we also have to agree that it doesn't have to happen today. We have to do this systematically, also remembering that as much as we are doing the good work on the ground, even the systems in place have not been set. They're still the old systems, have not been set in place to make sure that they can sustain some of the changes we are recommending. Yeah, so it's not a today thing. I saw someone, a clip going around, a young person saying, this is a revolution, and a revolution does not happen in more than 1 week. It has to happen in 1 week. Like, literally, they were putting pressure on the protesters currently to do something in 1 week, which is an agenda that it is there, it is ongoing. Yes, we want the current presidency to sit down and look at what it's doing, and even if possibly the better for us, step down. But aside that pressure that we are putting on us, which is such a big pressure for Kenya, we've never done this before. Other countries have done it, and we've seen how they did it. But we are still on that route. A revolution can also take years. It can also take months, and we have to also accept that it doesn't need to be today. It does not need to be today. So, secondly, we also need to realize that the society has changed a lot. Part of what really pushed a lot of us to the streets is just the arrogance. The arrogance. How we just go to the polls, we give these people power to represent us, but even the outcome of it, just for them wanting to be on those seats, misappropriate funds and show us the kind of lifestyles they're living through our money, and then arrogantly just come back and spit on us. The arrogance, oh my God, because I have been alive enough to see 4 presidencies, yeah, from Moi era and all that. And I can tell you, there is no presidency, there is no leadership that has a bunch of arrogant people like this current one. You can eat, please just eat silently. But now this is loud eating. People are literally smacking on our faces, mutadu, and the kind of anger that is in us, it is boiling. And I really commend this kind of organization that is going on, the protests that are going on, because that kind of anger can drive us to do things that we do not want to do. But the kind of self-control that we've had so far is something that I need to also applaud. People have really controlled themselves, because that anger can burn a country down. And we are not only angry down here, even up there, the leadership is angry, because in Kenya, any transition, any leadership transition, after elections, it's always they've already organized themselves. This is how we're gonna eat. This is our section. This is our time. And this kind of this leadership currently is like, oh my God, what is happening? The awakening is shaking them, because now they don't know where to start. They're like, oh my God, what is happening? We are not gonna eat. It's our turn, but it looks like we are not gonna eat. And it's true. Right now, someone tries to put that spoon in their mouth, we hit it. Let that food spill, but you're not continuing to eat our food. We're not letting you continue to do that. So I want every Kenyan to sleep and wake up knowing that we are doing something. And I want us to remember, Gen Zs have passed the baton. Yes, they're with us, but it's no longer about them. It is no longer about them. It's all of us who are in the streets right now. It's no longer a generation thing. It is all of us in the streets. Let me also mention a few other things that I'm noting here and there in this protesting, movement. There is no humanity in our leadership. There is no humanity in our leadership, and our children are dying each and every day. There is a lot of propaganda going on. We are unsure. We also have to accept that our mental health are being affected each and every day. I can literally say yesterday I did not sleep. What has been happening in Zimmerman? And we are not sure. We will never be sure, because things that happen in the dark, things that happen in the dark sometimes are never clear during the day. We are never what happened in Githurai. We will never be sure. And we are noticing a trend whereby we are all in the streets during the day, but certain areas are targeted to be hit. And I'm talking about the slum areas, which is quite ironical, because this government came into power with the promise of the hustler nation. But you're going back to kick the same hustler nation. I don't know why there are no other areas always being hit once we protest. It's certain particular areas that are zoned in, and their focus, it's like blood has to be poured. It's like someone's anger has to be appeased through blood pouring. I don't know whether you guys are noticing that trend.
Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Lady Justice, I'm really happy for the platform, and let's continue this particular discourse. So let me just leave it at that. But so far, so good. Thank you so much.
Asante sana for the contribution. Pinyo Wacho disappeared. Looks like Pinyo Wacho has gone to work. Let's go to Sudi Musa, please. 3 minutes. Sudi Musa, are you there? Unmute your microphone, please. Looks like Sudi Musa is not there. James the RN. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be given this opportunity to speak. Let me first say that the topic is good, but there are some things you have to understand and highlight first. I'm a millennial too. I've listened to Lola. I'm a millennial too. So also me, I had an opportunity to undergo the transition of all those presidencies that have been governing this country of ours. Let me say first that since when I came to understand politics, we have never been having any opposition at any given time. Kenya has been governed for so long without opposition because most of the people that we termed as opposition, in real sense, they are not opposition. There are people who really take advantage of the position that we put them, and they always work in conniving with the government of the day to loot from us and to sustain their political agenda and their political class. But having said that, I do not discourage or despise anyone who would like to join Gen Zs and the millennium, as long as you are a Kenyan who is fighting bad governance, who is fighting corruption, and all sort of things, bad things that have been happening in this country of ours. And regardless of your age, and you are buying the idea of having a good country, you are welcomed as an individual, but not as a party. Because right now, as Gen Z started, right now we don't want to have to be associated with any political party or any political affiliation, because we have seen after the first gains that we have already gained, we have seen the opposition trying to go in bed with the government to negotiate some positions, of which I'm sure even I think is next week, if I'm not wrong. Some of the ministers are going to be announced by the president, and those ministers are coming from the side of opposition. And that's why you find that even opposition has now started to split itself. It's like it's now fighting among themselves. Because yesterday I found a whatever party giving its own statement that is contrary to ODM. So it means that they are fighting among themselves because of maybe the straws that have been awarded by the president. So you find that Wiper has not gotten some, or ODM has taken all of them. That way you find that they have differences. What does that show? It shows clearly that these people are not fighting for us, they are fighting for themselves. For instance, I may wonder why do President dismiss someone like Aisha Juma as a minister from Coast Region, and at the same time he fronts Joe. What's the difference between Aisha Juma and Joe? This is just sometimes that I wonder what type of a country we are living in. So for me, I may say the idea is good. Gen Z can partner with anyone who is a Kenyan, but not opposition. Having said that, it's like Gen Z can partner with Kalonzo, but not as a Wiper leader. Gen Z can partner with Laila as an individual, but not as an ODM. So that's my idea, and that I think is the best way we can accommodate each and everybody as individuals. Okay, and when we accommodate, you know that you come and give your policies to our movement. You come and understand what we are fighting to, and we walk as per our talk. You walk as per our steps, not you come with your own ideas. Okay, not that having said that, not that we close we limit people from giving new ideas. You can come with a good idea, but the idea that's as our agenda. Another thing that is worrying me much is that it's clear that we don't have a country up to now. We have a country in terms of landmass, but we don't have a country in terms of a system and governance. People have lost their morality. Because clearly speaking, there's a video I've seen today in X of what happened yesterday at Zimmerman. I don't know, I'm not sure how factual that is, because if it is factual, if that video is the true video of what happened yesterday in Zimmerman, clearly I can say, yeah, my heart is broken. We don't have a country. We don't have people who have the heart of humanity. How comes police can walk directly towards a crowd and start shooting as the people are crying, please open for us, these people want to finish us, please open the door, these people want to finish us, please open the gate. And police are walking, you are seeing police in uniform walking and opening fire, cocking their rifles and firing towards the people. And yet you tell me that you are living in a country where we have good governance. Yeah. Yesterday I found people with plain clothes, with numberless cars, with rifles. Even I saw white people covered themselves. Even only their upper limbs are the ones that show that these people are the white people. Yeah, with rifles. Yeah, others with the Subarus that are numberless. And yet you tell me that you are in a country where you have good governance. Yeah, people are dying each other today. Humanity has gone. Yeah. How comes a police who is being paid with Kenyan money, wearing uniform, yeah, that's being paid by Kenyan tax, that rifle that he is using is out of Kenyan tax, you go and open fire towards harmless people who are just petitioning the government for good life. Yeah. And let you tell me guys, we just sit down and relax and say that things are normal, things are okay, no more demonstration. Let's go and work, business, G, association, B. Well, I don't know. Please land, James. Yes. So what I'm saying is this, kindly guys, you have to understand that you don't have a country. Right now we have monsters in the name of our leadership, and we have to fight by all means, by our word of mouth, by our everything that you think you can have to change this country, and know that we are not at the right position as a country. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Oh, asante sana, James. So, Pinyo Wacho, and then we can go to Maura.
Thank you, Lady Justice. I don't know if I'm audible enough.
Yes, very audible. Thank you.
Sorry, I had network challenges. I had to change to another network. I've heard our brother James, and I just want to start from where he has just finished. Let us be honest. I think we are not annoyed enough. The issues of police using our taxpayers, everything, those people know everything about all those facts. Yes, the police are using our taxpayers. The president is there, courtesy of our tax money. Everything that the president is doing with our money. Now, and he will frustrate you with your money. Now, there is the issue of whether you like it or not, because he has proved it that he can do it whenever he wants to do it. Now, what is our next recourse? I think there's a gentleman called, is it Maura Rob, who talked about that it is time we need to start going through the constitutional means. I listened to somebody who was talking about the removal of the president. And let us be honest, that we might not be able to achieve that threshold. If you look at Article 144, Article 145, I'm not an advocate, but just brief reading into the threshold for you to actually impeach a president, it's a long process. And again, after you've impeached the president, Article 146 still comes in. And it tells you that in case of a vacancy of that office, the deputy president shall assume office as the president for the remainder of the term for the president. Unless where the deputy president is unable to assume office is when we can get into the issues of the speaker taking charge for around 60 days, an election being done, and the powers that the speaker can have and what he doesn't have, and things like that. But right now, we are on the issue that we have challenges, and our challenges are ranging on unemployment, corruption, and all that. As a team, we must come up with a procedure or a document that clearly define the issue and the proposed solution. And that is what the president has actually thrown back to us. He is saying that you people, you are not giving an alternative idea. Yeah, you are saying that
Tujitoe kwa nguvu, nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda, tuwe tayari kuilinda na tujenge taifa letu. Ndiye wajibu wetu, Kenya istahili heshima. Tuungane mikono pamoja kazini, kila siku tuwe na shukrani.
Tunataka
Okay guys, we are not criminals. We are not criminals.
Bungei yako wapi? Tumeambiwa tunapigia Bungei. Yes.
And our petition to police,
yes.
We have only one issue,
yes.
That we are telling police,
yes.
Stop shooting journalists,
yes.
Don't shoot the messenger,
yes.
And this is contained here, yes. The IG, the acting IG has assured us that he has assigned a team here to receive our petition so that he can act on it. So this is the petition. Journalists, the Kenya Media Center working protection from police and police is not shooting journalism. So that is our request to the police so that journalists can be allowed to work in safe environment. Yes. And just as has been written, the Kenya Media Sector Working Group is a partnership of media professionals, association and stakeholders. Today, we have appropriated our rights as citizens and professionals to gather and express our anger over police brutality against journalists, threats to shut media houses, and other primitive strategies by state organs and agencies, politicians and their youth bent on curtailing the hard-won freedom of expression and media. We therefore demand immediate action on the following issues: accountability for illegal shootings, beatings, abductions, and harassment of journalists in the last few weeks, details of which are in the public domain, prosecution of rogue police officers, including the one who shot our journalists in Nakuru, and also assurances of the safety of all journalists working in the country, cessation of veiled threats issued by Communications Authority and other state agencies, gazettement of all duly reputed members of the media complaints, as well as immediate payment of pending bills owed to media houses, end of media censorship, and unrestricted access to information, including the Parliament of Kenya. Yes. So we've delivered our petition to police. From here, we are still going to other government offices where journalists have been restricted access to information. So this is the first point where we've delivered our petition to police, particularly the issues touching on police brutality. So let me also introduce Zubeda Kananu, the president of Kenya Leaders Guild, to say something, then from there we move.
wanahabari wetu wachukuliwe hatua. Tunaona yeyote akichukuliwa hatua tangu hapo. Kwa nini? Mbona wanalindwa? Mbona wanafichwa? Mbona hawachukuliwi hatua? Na ndio mambo ambayo tunataka. Kwa nini hao polisi ambao wamenakiliwa hata kwenye video hakuna hata mmoja wao amechukuliwa?
And just to add on that, we indicated here access to information is a constitutional right. I'm one of the journalists that have been restricted to access permanent buildings, but what we are saying is access to information is a constitutional right, and we have a duty to give all the information to the media.
Alafu pia tunadai haki kama vyombo vya habari, kwa sababu sasa tunatishiwa kwamba vyombo vyetu vya habari vitavamiwa. Sasa hivi tunaitwa genocide media kwa kufanya kazi yetu. Kwa nini tunaitwa genocide media? Wengine wetu nambari zetu za simu zimewekwa mitandaoni, nchi ambayo tuna haki ya kikatiba ya privacy. Kwa nini namba zetu zinawekwa mitandaoni? Tunatishiwa kila wakati. Tunadai haki kutoka kwa asasi husika ambazo zimewekwa, kwamba vyombo vyetu vya habari vipo mikononi mwenu. Hatutaki kuona hawa boots ambao wanalipwa wanakuja kutisha vyombo vyetu vya habari. Juzi ilikuwa Royal Media, hiyo ni standard media ambayo inaitwa genocide media. Kwa nini? Haki zetu za kikatiba.
Na vile vile tunataka kushukuru raia kwa kusimama na vyombo vya habari na wanahabari. We have seen the public coming to counter that and to be in solidarity with the media. To the members of the public out there, thank you for standing with us, and we will ensure that we execute our mandate.
We want to address the president. We want to address the president.
Another money that was allocated to a project, the project was either not done or the
hiyo mic iko nyuma.
How come nobody has been held to account?